Hello, my name is Peter Washer and I'm the editor of Clinical Communication Skills. And in this podcast I'm joined by Dr. Caroline Fertelman, who's a consultant paediatrician at the Whittington Hospital in North London, and by Miss Megan Clifford, who is going to talk about her experiences as a patient. So Megan, tell me something about yourself.
Okay, well obviously my name is Megan Clifford. I'm 17 and I study health and social care at City in Islington College.
Just tell us why you were in hospital.
I was in hospital with pneumonia on 2 occasions, once when I was 14 for about a week, and then when I was 16 for about 3 weeks. But when I was in hospital when I was 16 with pneumonia, I lost a lot of weight. I mean, I was down to 5.5 stone, so you can imagine what I looked like. And suspicions, people thought that I had eating disorder, which was because they caught me throwing away food as well.
Alright, so they caught you throwing away food.
Yeah,
well, you can
but
understand why they would think that, but what was going on for you?
I mean, I know myself that I wasn't making myself sick, and I knew that I wasn't ill in that department. I just thought there's a reason for why I'm not putting on weight. And if you keep telling me I'm anorexic, you're not going to get to the bottom of this. You know, you can't just say someone's ill.
So why were you throwing away food?
Generally because I didn't like it. I mean, It was a build-up milkshake that they'd given me, and they said that it was really nice, and I don't really like milk and dairy stuff as it is, and when I took a mouthful, I thought, this is disgusting. Because when I was in my own room, I thought no one's looking, so I'll throw it away. But as I was throwing it away, the nurse walked in, she was like, oh, I'm going to record this. So I could obviously understand, but I mean, they caught me throwing away a milkshake and mashed potato on 2 separate occasions. So then that's when the doctors started saying, okay, we think that you're having eating disorder, we think you're getting a bit ill and whatnot.
Okay, as you know, we're making a recording about how doctors talk to young people and children. So tell us what have been your experiences. Maybe start with the good and move on to what was better.
Well, like I said, when I was in hospital with pneumonia, the good parts was when the doctors were telling me how ill I was. I mean, to a stroppy 16-year-old, you tell them they've got pneumonia, they just think, oh, it's nothing. You know, it'll be gone by next week. I didn't actually understand how ill I was until one day I said, I'm not listening to this, I'm going out for a cigarette. And the doctor actually shouted at me and he said, you can't go out for a cigarette, you don't understand how ill you are. And he sat me down and he told me how ill I was. That's when I took a step back and I thought, okay, I've got to start getting better now.
Right, okay.
It's not all about going outside to have a fag, you know.
that doesn't sound very positive. I mean, being shouted at.
I mean, I had to.
Right.
Someone had to shout at me to tell me, because I was just not listening. I mean, after about 2 weeks, the doctor he was getting a bit annoyed with me because I was not listening. And then he was just like, do you know what, Megan, you are very ill, you can't be going out for cigarettes all the time.
Right, and no one had told you that before?
Well, no, I mean, people don't like smokers anyway, so it was like, oh, it's really bad for you, you know, don't go out and smoke. I'm just like, whatever.
Right, okay.
But then, because I didn't know pneumonia was a lung infection at the time, I just thought, I didn't know what I wasn't, you know, I was only young, and it was when I was sat down and I said, you know, it's a lung infection, you've got bad asthma, you're on 3 inhalers, it's cold outside, you know, you're only tiny, you've got to wrap up, and that's when I thought, okay, that I'm ill, and that's what I thought was really good about it. They actually sat me down and told me what was wrong with me and why I couldn't do what I was doing.
And tell me when things weren't quite so good, you know, maybe when your parents, how things happened when your mum was there.
The only thing that I would say wasn't very good was when the doctors, they would prefer to talk to my mum, my parents, than they would to talk to me. I mean, I was hard work, I admit that myself, I was very hard work, but I felt like, you know, they couldn't talk to me, you know, they had to talk to my mum, and it was like I was the third party, you know. They'd tell my mum, then my mum would tell me, and then I'd tell my mum, and she'd tell the doctors, and it just wasn't making a lot of sense to me. That's the only thing I can say that was quite bad about the whole thing. Right,
so you'd preferred them to come directly to you?
Yeah.
But with your mum there or without your mum there?
Maybe with my mum there, maybe talk to both of us, because there was, on a few occasions I was told to leave the room so they could speak to my mum, and I thought, well, I'm not a little kid, I'm 16, you know, you should tell me what's going on. That's the only thing I could say that was a bit bad in the whole thing, and being told that I was anorexic and had an eating disorder when I know I didn't.
Right, so what could they have done differently?
I mean, they could have just tried to listen to me a bit more. I mean, because it was just like, you're anorexic, you're ill, you're not going home until you put on weight. And I thought, I can't put on weight, I don't know why I'm not putting on weight, I really do want to go home. And I just thought to myself, you can't just tell me I'm anorexic if, because there is obviously something wrong with me if I'm not putting on weight, and people need to get to the bottom of this, because I've been in here twice now with pneumonia and about my weight issues, and I know myself that I don't make myself sick and I don't starve myself, but obviously to the doctors catching me throwing away food, they think differently. Okay.
So have you got any take-home messages? This is going to be listened to by medical students. What sort of things would you like to say?
Don't undermine teenagers.
Right.
Don't think that every teenager is just a stroppy teenager, because it's not like that. If you're in hospital and being told that you've got an illness and you haven't got it, just try and listen to them a bit more, because we're not all kids. Some of us are very grown up, and we do need to be heard sometimes.
Okay, thanks very much, Megan.
That's okay.
Thank you, Megan.